Wednesday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV. Welcome to Ungoverned. Happy to be here on a Wednesday, the 17th of September. We're more than halfway through the month already, which is wild. Hard to believe. 5 days away from the official start of fall. Woo-hoo! Although it has started in this house. It's been underway in this house for about a month. So it's good. We're good.
I am the queen of fall.
The queen of fall. That's right. All right. Lots to get to today. Reactions to yesterday's charging press conference. I thought it was a very revealing press conference yesterday. A lot of information came out. A lot of speculation about that information. Have to preface this by, hey, if you want to ask questions about the text message exchange and say, I don't really buy it, I don't think 22-year-olds text like that, fine. If you're going to make the declaration, and this, remember, there's a difference between asking questions and making statements, right? Mm-hmm. Asking questions, hey, did they stage it? Did they do that with each other? Did they rehearse it? Fine. Saying it is staged, okay, where's the proof? You know, I'm a notoriously hard sell.
He is.
I'm a notoriously very hard sell, okay? Like when I hear somebody tell me that something's happening, immediately, my first is full-blown skepticism. And honestly, it's the Occam's razor approach, which I actually learned. I didn't realize it was called the Occam's razor approach, but I actually learned that approach from the TV show Ghost Hunters back in the day, where those guys would actually find every reason to say the pieces of evidence they found was not, quote unquote, paranormal before declaring it paranormal. They would always try and recreate it. It was a very scientific approach to not become one of those shows where, like, oh my gosh, everything is Bigfoot, right? So, like, I'm a notoriously hard sell. Okay? Like, skepticism is my thing. Someone tells me something's happening, I'm extremely skeptical. What's up?
Even Jeremy said even Nick Fuentes
even Nick. Look, this is how you know Candace Owens is a massive, narcissistic, grifting lunatic. I agree with Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is like, she's grifting, and she's probably going to put all of her quote-unquote receipts behind a paywall. We'll get to that. Because the biggest thing I took heat for last night was saying, I think the text messages between the roommate and the shooter were legitimate because I have no reason to believe they're not. They're like, well, I've never seen a 22-year-old text like that. Okay. How many 22-year-olds do you know? You may have 22-year-old children. Fine. How many 22-year-old homicidal children that just assassinated another human being and or transgender, gender dysphoric 22-year-olds do you know? They're like, that wasn't a normal conversation. Okay, but those weren't normal people, right? So wouldn't that kind of track? Look, I'm not saying that it's 100% they didn't rehearse it. I'm saying, like, ask the questions. Let's look into it. But people who are like, well, it's common sense it's staged. Okay, well, common sense usually relies on, like, again, I always go to the example of if it's wet outside, your whole neighborhood's wet, common sense would dictate that it rained, right? Because that's what happens. When it rains, everything gets wet. But you have like an underlying, cause. What's the underlying evidence other than it just doesn't feel right? Not just that, but these texts were most likely transcribed so that prosecutors can put them in a charging document and a probable cause statement so that it makes sense to people. We don't know if those are the exact text verbatim, the way the text appeared on the screen. So I would say this whole thing about the texts and whether or not it was rehearsed and whether or not it's real and whether or not it's staged, I caution you, again, there's a difference between asking, hey, do you think this is weird, and saying these aren't real. All right. We'll get to those because I think it's a good discussion. The crappy discussion right now that has to be addressed is what Candace Owens is doing, because what she's doing is reprehensible. Make no mistake, right now, Candace Owens is threatening to hijack Turning Point USA. That's what she's doing. That's what she's doing. And I'll play the clip that's going around. And we're going to clear up a bunch of these rumors, too. Because I saw these rumors floating around Facebook groups. I've saw them floating around the internet. I've seen them floating around X and Instagram and everywhere. Never once, not ever. By the way, that's an Andrew Wilkow line. I love it. Ever since I've been doing these workouts back in the night, I'm able to put Wilkow on and listen to one of my favorite radio shows ever. Andrew Wilkow. Never once, not ever, did Ben Shapiro say that he's taking over Turning Point USA. I know a lot of people, oh my gosh, I heard that he said that.
Right, a rumor was started and then people ran with it.
Did you hear him say those words?
Or Erica. No.
Did you hear? Good point. Did you hear Erica say those words?
Has Turning Point made a post about it?
Has Turning Point said that Ben Shapiro's doing? Then they say, well, he filled in for Charlie Kirk yesterday. Okay, and so did J.D. Vance. Is J.D. Vance taking over Turning Point?
Yeah, so did Glenn Beck.
I
think he is today, actually.
Glenn Beck taking. Did Ben Shapiro say he's taking over Turning Point? Did Ben Shapiro ever say that he is replacing Charlie Kirk? The answer is no. I'll play the clip that everyone is taking way out of. And by the way, I want to preface all this. Well, it's not really preface. I'm saying it afterwards. But anyway, I don't like Ben Shapiro. I mean, I agree with him on some things. I do not like his foreign policy. His foreign policy is very Israel first. He's very war happy in the Middle East. I don't like Ben Shapiro. I think he's squishy on a lot of issues. I respect the work he's done. You know, I refer to him as I think it was one of our friends up in Nashville, that Ben Shapiro is like the gateway drug for people leaving the Democrat Party. Like, you start off with Ben Shapiro and then you work your way like over to LFA TV, right? We're like hardcore. Okay. Not to compare it to drugs, but it's the way it is. I'm not a fan of Ben Shapiro. I don't want him to take over Turning Point USA. But the fact of the matter is he's not, and he never said he was. All right, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to all that in a second. Before we do that, I got to get to a word from our friends at OFP Farms. Happy birthday to you, OFP Farms. OFP Farms is thrilled to announce that it's birthday month as they celebrate 11 wonderful years in business. To date, OFP Farms has successfully shipped over 16,000 packages. That is thanks to you, Y-O-U, sharing their skin and pain relief magic across this beautiful nation as America's trusted source for soap. Rub-a-dub-dub, relaxing in the tub. Right there with the Outlaw Soap, lotion, pain relief, and lip balm. They have received countless enthusiastic reviews from people like you that attest to the excellence of their products. And to celebrate, for a limited time, they are offering 25% off your entire purchase throughout September as a heartfelt thank you for your support over the years. Discover the remarkable products from OFP Farms. They are a pioneer in natural ingredients, celebrated for the skin-nurturing benefits of tallow and fresh goat milk. Now, whether you're in search of gentle skincare options or thoughtful gifts, these products seamlessly blend expert craftsmanship with strong values to elevate your daily routine. Take this opportunity to pick up premium products that support health and resonate with ethical choices for your whole family. OFP Farms takes pride in being a God-first, family-owned, patriotic company and is grateful to the thousands of incredible customers who have embraced their small farm values and supported their farm-to-family skincare mission. Look at this. This is the sweater weather box for 2025. They have the greatest gift boxes ever. OFP Farms, small family farm, big, beautiful love. Ladies and gentlemen, and for their happy birthday celebration here for the month of September, they're not just giving you 15% off. They're giving you a big, beautiful quarter off, 25%, if you use the promo code Sean, S-H-A-W-N. That's S-H-A-W-N at OFPFarms.com. OFPFarms.com, promo code S-H-A-W-N for 25% off. Okay. I got to take a drink.
Happy birthday to you. I like that version, honestly. That's my favorite. That's how you have to sing me happy birthday every year now. Okay.
All right.
You got put a little spice in it.
We got to put a little spice in it.
Yep.
A little spice.
Yep.
All right. Again, we'll clear up the Shapiro rumors in just a second. But we got to get to a word from our friends over at Silent, SLNT, which I wish some people would just be silent these days. Saying things they don't. Oh, Tony Saruga's back with a beauty. You know, the guy who says he has cell phone records all the time, that grifter. Well, so we're not going to get to him because he's just not important. All right. Silent, SLNT.com. SLNT.com/SHAWN. Let's face it, your phone is a tracking device. Government agencies, big tech, corporate data brokers, even cyber criminals, they're all fighting for a piece of your digital footprint, and they don't ask. They just take it. That is why Silent exists. Silent makes Faraday gear that blocks all wireless signals like cellular, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, RFID, and near-field communications. No signal means no tracking, no remote access, no breadcrumbs. It's the same technology trusted by special operations teams worldwide, used to block signals, avoid surveillance, and secure communications wherever the mission leads. And right now it is available to you to protect your family, to protect your freedom, and to secure that digital footprint. Drop your phone in a Silent Faraday sleeve and it's off the grid. Completely silent and invisible to the outside world. From backpacks to sleeves to crossbodies, Silent's patented technology gives you control over your privacy. Visit slnt.com/SHAWN to save 15% and get free shipping on qualifying orders. That is Silent, slnt.com/Sean, SHAWN. Protect your rights, secure your data, and stay one step ahead. Silent.com. Go silent today, slnt.com/SHAWN. 15% off, free shipping on qualifying orders. Go silent today and silence the chaos. You know what to do. All right, here's the problem that I'm having with a lot of these people. Candace came out yesterday. This is, everything's about Candace Owens, right? Oh, you're in the military? Get a dishonorable discharge for me. Oh, Donald Trump called me about the Ukraine war. He called me about Emmanuel Macron. I'm the reason why Russia and Ukraine are fighting. Everything is Candace Owens.
That's so true.
It's everything. She's a narcissist. Everything. She sounds like she's warming up for the opera. Me. It's her favorite freaking note.
That's so true.
Everything is Candace. Okay. So here's what she said about Turning Point USA. Again, I am the one who matters, Candace Owens. Watch and listen to this.
Right now. To those of you who think that you are going to replace Charlie Kirk, okay? Kings are born. You don't just get to depose and tell us that we're going to follow this individual, okay? I'm one of the Masons of Turning Point USA. You put a shill in Charlie Kirk's chair, in Charlie Kirk's company, and you try to tell us to follow that individual, I will be an enemy of you. There will be nothing that can stop me. Okay? And I want you guys to understand, this is not a threat. This is a promise. There will be nothing that can stop me. I will release every single text message. So to those of you who are trying that, I'm seeing the messages, I am telling you to back off right now. Like right now. Don't do it. Okay? Don't you think about it. I know exactly who you are. I know exactly who you were that were exerting pressure. Don't you pretend to be noble now and say nice things about Charlie Kirk and think you're going to slide into his chair. Okay? Over my dead body, which I'm sure can be arranged.
Okay. There, Candace Owens. Oh, she'll fight this, she'll put her life on the line. What she's claiming here. Me. You will never stop me. I will not listen to you. But you will listen to her because she has text messages. Oh, so what are we, just blackmailing in public now? I thought blackmail was a bad thing. Israel blackmails our congressman. You're what is that? It's not a threat, it's a promise. I will release everything. Okay, so you're blackmailing people on your show. Got it. No problem. That's fine. But it's not fine. She's talking about Ben Shapiro. Because, and again, I am not a fan of Ben Shapiro. I'm not. It doesn't mean I dislike him. I just am not a fan of his, right? He's never been my brand. He's never been my cup of tea. I don't love listening to him. I think his voice is annoying. I disagree with a lot of his stances beyond the surface level. I'm just not a fan of his. So I don't really have I agree with a lot of people that, hey, Ben should not take over Turning Point USA. Also, for spiritual reasons, he's a Jew. Like, he's not a Christian, right? So, and Turning Point USA has been a Christian faith-based organization too. So it doesn't make sense, okay? From that standpoint, nothing against the Jews. It's just that Charlie Kirk believed that, Jesus was his savior and Ben Shapiro doesn't. So it doesn't go with the founding principles of Turning Point USA, right? Right. I'm not a fan of Ben Shapiro. I'm also not a fan of taking things out of context to push a narrative. And that's exactly what's going on with Shapiro's comments. I wasn't planning on playing this, but I want to play it for context. This is what everyone believes is Ben Shapiro saying he's taking over Turning Point USA. Watch this.
Now, it's still up to us. I saw a lot of rumors online today. I was made aware of this by my team that I canceled some sort of college tour. That's bullshit. I saw those rumors. They are false. I will be coming to college campuses, many of them this year. So will we all, I am sure, because we're Americans and we're not going to be deterred. Charlie's voice is not silent. We're going to pick up that bloodstained microphone where Charlie left it. And to those who would intimidate, who would seek to stop us, who would seek to end free discussion, who believe that they have ownership over public spaces and can violently threaten and kill people who speak freely, we are not going to stop. And I have two words. Fuck you. We will not stop telling the truth. We will never stop telling the truth. We will never stop debating and discussing. We will never stop standing up for what America is and for what she should be. And we will never let Charlie Kirk's voice die. Goodbye to my friend, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing for your family and for your country and for all of us.
All right, that is what Ben Shapiro said. And what part of that statement did he say he was taking over Turning Point USA? All he said is that he's not canceling his college speaking tour, which was planned before the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Also, for those of you who know Ben Shapiro's background and what he's done for years, even before Charlie Kirk, right, is he used to go to college campuses and speak. Matter of fact, look up the Berkeley 2017 riots. They burned down portions of that campus because Ben Shapiro spoke on that campus. Okay? Crowder used to do a lot of this too, Steven Crowder. So nobody's trying to replace Charlie Kirk. All Ben Shapiro said is, I am not going to be intimidated. I am not canceling my tour. And he said, we as Americans will not stop. We will pick up. And now, listen, the bloodstained microphone line, I thought was too much. I think it's dramatic. I think it's too much. People have issue with that line in particular. I think it's a gross line. He didn't have to say that. It was for dramatic effect, and I think that was in poor taste. I do. But he did not say he's taking over Turning Point USA. Never once, not ever, did those words come out of his mouth. Never did he even make the implication, the insinuation that he wanted to even do that.
No, it sounded like he was going to just honor Charlie Kirk.
He's going to honor Charlie Kirk.
Not try to take his place.
By going to college campuses, which is something that Ben Shapiro has been doing for years. Years. And he's not going to stop speaking. Again, I'm not a fan of him. I'm not. But show me in that clip where he said he's taking over. Show me. Because people are like, he said he's going to replace Charlie Kirk. No, he didn't. This is like the very fine people hoax with Donald Trump. Donald Trump called neo-Nazis very fine people. No, he didn't. Not at all. So that's it for context there. That's it for context there. And at the end of the day, this is going to be Erica Kirk's decision. This is going to be Turning Point's decision, right? I'm sure they're going to get together as a company. And I hear right now from a lot of people that entire organization is beside itself because of the Israel rumors. Beside itself. Sure. Absolutely beside it. That it hasn't even been a week and we're doing this already. I know people who were involved with that Hamptons visit. Several. It's all nonsense. It's all about this, right? I got the scoop. I got the receipts. I got this. I got that. People are grifting now off of Charlie Kirk's death. It hasn't even been a week yet. Today is a week. But as we speak right now, it hasn't been a full 7 days at, 10:22 Eastern time in the morning here. So it's time to put those rumors to bed. And folks, I see people, they spread the rumor that stop believing everything you hear. Stop just because, oh, wow, somebody who I know said that. Ben Shapiro said, go look for yourself, please. Because that's the comment that's being taken out of context. And if you could tell me in that comment where he said he's taking over Turning Point USA, because we just played it, did anybody hear it? No. Okay? No. All right. Let's get to the real part of the show here that I'm excited about. If there's something that could be exciting about this. And by the way, to answer the question finally, I do not think Ben Shapiro would be a good replacement for Charlie Kirk. Not at all. Okay, so I'm just putting that out there. Charlie Kirk's assassin has been charged with aggravated murder, and prosecutors are seeking the death penalty, which in Utah includes firing squad. Now, we don't know which method of death there's going to be, but here's the announcement yesterday from the press conference of the charges that the prosecutors were filing.
I am filing a criminal information charging Tyler James Robinson, age 22, with the following crimes. Count 1, aggravated murder, a capital offense for intentionally or knowingly causing the death of Charlie Kirk under circumstances that created a great risk of death to others. Count 2, felony discharge of a firearm causing serious bodily injury, a first-degree felony. The state is further alleging aggravating factors on counts 1 and 2 because the defendant is believed to have targeted Charlie Kirk based on Charlie Kirk's political expression and did so knowing that children were present and would witness the homicide. The state is also charging defendant with count 3, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for moving and concealing the rifle used in the shooting. Count 4, obstruction of justice, a second-degree felony for disposing the clothing he wore during the shooting. Count 5, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to delete his incriminating texts. Count 6, witness tampering, a third-degree felony for directing his roommate to stay silent if police questioned him. And count 7, commission of a violent offense in the presence of a child, a Class A misdemeanor, for committing homicide knowing that children were present and may have seen or heard the murder and did so based on Charlie Kirk's political expression. Also, following the press conference, I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently.
There was the announcement that he's seeking the death penalty. Obviously, he says he hadn't made this decision lightly, but it is the right decision. Aggravated murder, I think, is one of the is the top murder charge in Utah. It's a capital offense, right? And some of the aggravating factors would be the political nature of it. People are asking, why is it not premeditated? I think that might be the charge that includes premeditation in Utah. It's a capital offense. You can't go higher than that. You know, it's higher than murder in the first degree. It's aggravated murder. It's capital offense, meaning death penalty. Plus, they got to go with as Wanda says, aggravated murder is larger and carries the death penalty. It replaces premeditated because aggravating factors are essentially what led to the premeditation. Is how it works over there in Utah. Okay. And by the way, I saw a couple of comments saying, well, if you listen to Ben Shapiro on the Charlie Kirk show, you'll hear that he wants to get involved with Turning Point USA. Cool. Getting involved is not, I want to get involved with Turning Point USA. Does that mean I want to take it over? Again, if anybody has a video of Ben Shapiro saying that he wants to take over Turning Point, take over, not get involved with, take over, send it to me. farishmedia@gmail.com. You won't because you can't, because it doesn't exist. And reading between the lines here, not doing anybody any good. And I get it that there is a faction of the online world that is conditioned to dive down everything that resembles a rabbit hole. And it is okay to ask questions, but people aren't doing that right now. I'm not saying everybody in the chat. I'm saying there are people who are saying they're asking questions who are not asking anything. They're telling you things. That's the problem. There is a difference. Making declarations and making statements is a lot different than saying, hey, does it sound like so-and-so is saying this? Does it look like they're moving in that direction? No, people are saying Ben Shapiro is taking over Turning Point USA, period. That's wrong. Okay. Charges were announced, and I also want to put this is a long one. But this is about the shooter and his parents and the conversation that his parents had with police about the mindset of their son. And this goes to what I believe is the most important narrative surrounding this shooter, that a radical leftist killed Charlie Kirk because he was deeply indoctrinated with radical left-wing ideology. Deeply infected and indoctrinated in radical left-wing ideology. Listen to this. It's about 5 minutes long, but this is a, you know what? We're going to, you know what we're going to do? We're going to play it after. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to play it because I want this to flow all the way into, I want this whole second segment to flow. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. It is National Preparedness Month. We'll talk to you about these things. I also going to play a highlight, Kash Patel and Adam Schiff yesterday. That was funny. So we'll have a little bit of funny stuff. And then we'll get back, into the charging situation, the charges that were filed yesterday. MyPatriotSupply.com/ungoverned. National Preparedness Month is underway. September is National Preparedness Month, so it's the perfect time to ask yourself some questions like, how much food do you have on hand for emergencies? How would you get clean water if the tap went dry tomorrow? What would you do if a storm knocked out the power for a week? If you're anything like me, here's some room for improvement on all this type of stuff. Luckily, our friends at My Patriot Supply are making disaster preparedness easier and more affordable than ever by giving you over $1,500 worth of emergency food and preparedness gear absolutely free. They just launched their Preparedness Month Mega Kit, and it includes a full year of emergency food, a water filtration system that can purify almost any water source, a solar backup generator, and a whole lot more. But here's the best part. If you go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned, which is right there on your screen, mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned, you can get 90 preparedness essentials totaling over $1,500 completely free. Head to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned for the full details. That is mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. It is a great time to take stock of your family's level of preparedness. If a major disaster struck tomorrow, would you be ready? MyPatriotSupply.com is offering a year food supply and $1,500 of gifts for free. To find out more, go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned for full details. Here is this exchange. Have you seen this exchange? This is Kash Patel and Adam Schiff yesterday in the Senate hearing. This was some real good stuff. Watch this.
To believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're
inmates.
not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of California. We are bringing historic reform. Point of order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said
take
I'm the
control
most
of this
transparent
situation.
FBI director in history.
Take control of this
33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
Oh, shut up, Chuck Grassley. Let him tee off. Both of you be quiet. Shut up. This is why I wanted Kash Patel as the FBI director. That was good stuff. Look, has Kash been perfect? Has his messaging been perfect? No. Is anybody perfect? No. But I thought that was phenomenal. All right, we're going to go into the more from that press conference in just a second, but I have to get to a word from our friends over at Golden Crest Metals. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA on behalf of Golden Crest Metals. It is Jeremy Harrell.
Hey everybody, Jeremy Harrell here. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver. When I was a kid, I always wondered what Fort Knox must look like. And when I was a kid, I always envisioned that when you would walk into Fort Knox, you would see just gold everywhere, literally raining gold, kind of like what you see behind me right now. Unfortunately, as a grown-up, I don't have that kind of imagination anymore, and I don't even have that much trust that Fort Knox has the 5,000 tons of gold that we're supposed to have there. Meaning that decades ago, we went off the gold standard in this country, which took the value of our dollar down to just mere pennies. And since our federal government doesn't want to go back to a gold standard currency, then it's time to us to take matters into our own hands. Have you ever thought about buying gold and silver? Have you ever thought about taking portions of your IRA or your 401k or your nest egg or your savings and putting it into gold and silver, either all or a portion of it? Have you ever wanted to purchase silver like this in bullion or premium? I know I do. And I know I wanted to take matters back into my own hands, which is why I have worked with Golden Crest Metals to do that. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA is going to be your go-to, absolutely transparent and trusted partner. Now, you can go to that website or you can call 888-308-4202. And what the good thing about this is they're going to guide you. They're going to talk to you. They're going to guide you. They're going to give you all the answers to your questions. And there's going to be no hidden fees. It's completely transparent. No hidden fees, no pressure, no surprise markups whatsoever. Clients get to see everything before they purchase. They've even agreed to lower the minimum investment to the LFA audience in order to make sure that everybody has access to this. Free IRA storage, free insured shipping, and a full range of precious metals from gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. And if it's easier for you to just maybe click a QR code, well, guess what? We've got that available for you too. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. Click this QR code on your screen and it'll take you right there. GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. Again, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA, or call 888-308-4202 today to reach these guys. They're going to be a great partner for you, just as they have been for me, and we absolutely recommend here at LFA TV, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA.
That's GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA, GoldenCrestMetals.com/LFA. We're going to get back to the charging press conference highlights from it. This is a long portion of the press conference. All right, it's about almost a 5-minute video, but all of it is important. This gets into the mind of the parents. This gets into the mind of the shooter. The conversations that the shooter had with the parents right after the events. So I want you to pay attention to all of this because this is really, really important stuff and telling stuff, and it is evidence and reinforcing the facts and the truth that this was a radical, left-wing, violent, crazy person that assassinated Charlie Kirk a week ago. Watch and listen to this.
And immediately after the shootings, no shell casings were found on the roof, suggesting a bolt action rather than an auto-loading weapon, and only a single round was fired. Each round in the rifle contained an etched inscription as follows. The fired cartridge was etched, "No Tice's bulge, OWO, what's this?" The second cartridge that was again not spent, the last three were not spent, were not fired. The second, "Hey Fascist," catch with arrow symbols. The third cartridge, "Oh Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Ciao Ciao." The fourth cartridge, "If you read this, you are gay," LMAO. The rifle, ammunition rounds, and towel were sent for forensic processing. DNA consistent with defendant was found on the trigger, other parts of the rifle, the fired cartridge casing, 2 of the 3 unfired cartridges, and the towel. Law enforcement was unable to immediately locate the shooter, so they published photos of the shooter from the UVU surveillance cameras and asked for the public's help to identify him. Meanwhile, law enforcement continued to try to identify the shooter through other means. The Washington County investigation. On the evening of September 11th, 2025, as law enforcement continued their investigation, Tyler James Robinson went to the Washington County Sheriff's Office with his parents and a family friend to turn himself in.
Real quick, because they're showing you this, and I know there's a question about this earlier this week. They're showing you the shooter coming down off the roof. The gun is the black object. You could see it it is draped in a towel. That is him getting, I know a lot of people said, why, how did he take the gun off the roof if he doesn't have the gun on the roof? He's holding the gun in his left hand as he starts climbing down, transfers it to his right hand, and you can see there's like a little turtle shell on his back. That's the backpack. We're going to continue here.
Robinson's mother stated that the following to police.
The gun's in his right hand now.
2025, the day after the shooting, Robinson's mother saw the photo of the shooter in the news and thought the shooter looked like her son. Robinson's mother called her son and asked him where he was. He said he was at home sick and that he had also been at home homesick on September 10th. Robinson's mother expressed concern to her husband that the suspect shooter looked like Robinson. Robinson's father agreed. Robinson's mother explained that over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift. As a result, Robinson's father contacted his son and asked him to send a photo of the rifle. Robinson did not respond. However, Robinson's father spoke on the phone with Robinson. Robinson implied that he planned to take his own life. Robinson's parents were able to convince him to meet at their home. As they discussed the situation, Robinson implied that he was the shooter and stated that he couldn't go to jail and just wanted to end it. When asked why he did it, Robinson explained there is too much evil and the guy, referring to Charlie Kirk, spreads too much hate. They talked about Robinson turning himself in and convinced Robinson to speak with a family friend who is a retired deputy sheriff. At Robinson's father's request, the family friend met with Robinson and his parents and
all right, so that is a glimpse into the ideology as you hear him talking about his parents, mentioning that he had gone further left, et cetera, et cetera. the engraved bullets. And then that turned into, there was another, I'm not going to give you another 5-minute clip, but this is the transcript, of course, the transcribed text messages between the shooter and his boyfriend. A lot of people are calling him the roommate. I think we should call him his boyfriend because that's exactly what he was. And that you know, it's accurate. It's accurate. All right. Now, a lot of people said normal people don't text like this. Were these normal people? No. I think we've said for years now that, like, if you're trans, you're mentally ill, so something's not right, everything's not normal. Also, if you're a cold-blooded murderer, you're also not a normal person, right? So let's keep that in mind. I'm not saying this wasn't orchestrated at all. I'm saying I believe this is a real exchange. And by the way, there is a way to tell if this was orchestrated or not. And I'm sure that the FBI will be looking into this and investigators will be looking into this, right? But like, if you look at we don't have it, so I don't know what it looks like. But I would imagine previous conversations between these two people, the shooter and the boyfriend, if they look like this, then it's probably fine, okay? The shooter says, I am okay. I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I come home. But I got to grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. The boyfriend says, you aren't the one who did it, right? The shooter says, I am. I'm sorry. Boyfriend says, I thought they caught the person. Shooter says, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Boyfriend asks why. Shooter says, why did I do it? Boyfriend says, yeah. Shooter says, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, because he had left it in the woods, in the towel, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. So he was watching all the conjecture and all the conversations on social media as well. He had his phone, obviously. Boyfriend, how long have you been planning this? Shooter, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. Shooter, I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried that what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK, I don't even know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? Now that suggests, remember how I was engraving bullets, that the roommate, the boyfriend, knew he was engraving bullets. The only question that we can't determine from this is, did the roommate know he was engraving bullets for this? Because people engrave bullets all the time, from what I understand. Even the Luigi Mangione did it with the engraved. I know that people engrave bullets a lot, and they use a tool that's not very loud. Remember how I was engraving bullets? This is the shooter again. The effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge OWO on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. IDK. I think that was a $2,000 scope. Shooter, delete this exchange. Shooter, my dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me RN, which stands for right now, not answering. Shooter, since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. Shooter, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. Boyfriend, I'm much more worried about you. Shooter, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. All right. Are they strange texts? Yeah, they're strange. They're strange. Are these strange people, though? I mean, without a doubt, right? Somebody male transitioning to female, I would say that's strange. A cold-blooded killer, I would say that's strange, disturbed, twisted. Like, so wouldn't it make sense for two very disturbed or abnormal people to be having what we would perceive is an abnormal conversation? I saw a lot of people saying, well, I have a 22-year-old and they don't text like that. Okay. But like your 22-year-old may like chocolate ice cream. That doesn't mean every 22-year-old in the United States loves chocolate ice cream, right? So anecdotal evidence here, while it is evidence, is not conclusive. And looking at it myself, not hearing it, but looking at the words, looking at how it's typed out, it absolutely looks to me like a young person is having this conversation. Yes, he used terms like vehicle and squad car and outfits. I get it. But to question whether or not this was rehearsed, like I guess at the end of Breaking Bad, there was just something very similar to this. Totally fine. To say it was staged just for the sake of taking that position and then saying, well, it's common sense. I would say, well, how is it common? Like, what do you, other than your gut and your trust me, bro instincts, right? Which is fine. What else is suggesting that this was rehearsed? Because if you remember in this conversation, there was an unexpected change of plans, right? What was that unexpected change of plans? He couldn't get his gun. He was supposed to grab the gun and then leave. So they rehearsed something that they didn't plan on happening, not being able to get the gun. To me, this seems like an organic exchange. Is it abnormal? Sure. But you're dealing with abnormal people. And I don't even think it's that abnormal, to be honest with you. I don't necessarily, you see, like here, I'm not singling anybody out. But I'm going to read a comment from the chat. Xena904. Sean, the text messages are too detailed, and that's a red flag for me. And what young person says my love, not any that I know? What young people do you know that just murdered somebody in cold blood who's dating a transgender?
I've heard people call each other that my age.
I have heard people call each other my love my whole life.
Yeah, that's not that unusual. I think it's kind of weird, but
it's strange,
not
but these are
unusual.
weird people,
Exactly.
right?
But it's not unusual.
And it's detailed, yes, but you could see through his text, he didn't think he was getting caught. I left no evidence. I was going to keep this a secret. He didn't think he was getting caught. That's all I'm saying. Redneck 1776. Wouldn't a strange text from an assassin to his boyfriend / furry / transgender be strange?
Yes.
Yes. The shooter was also wickedly smart. You know, he got great scores on his ACTs, and he was academically very, very. He got a scholarship, right? I mean, he got kicked out, but he was intelligent. I don't know. I'm not. Everyone, I think what happens here, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. We have been conditioned to distrust everything that is told to us, that even when we're told things that could conceivably make sense, we're like, that can't be the truth. And I get it. You know, for me, it was COVID. I know there's a lot of people who have been seeing the government tell mistruths for decades, longer than I've even been here. But I asked this question to a bunch of people yesterday because they were like, well, the government lies 100% of the time. And I go, okay. So if the government told you that water was wet, would that be a lie? And surprisingly, I didn't get an answer to that question. I think now the way the FBI, the way the FBI is structured, that we can trust what they're saying. They don't have a motive to cover that up from us. The motive that everyone's saying is their cover up is Israel, which is it's nonsense. Now, I'm not saying that I 100% believe that these texts were organic and that nothing was rehearsed. I'm saying I believe it's likely that these are organic. Is anything possible? Yes. But I think where a lot of people are conditioned right now, especially folks online, where, as I said before, anything that could possibly resemble a rabbit hole, they're jumping into.
Matt Brown.
At all times. Go ahead.
He says, what kind of 22-year-old dates a man transitioning to a woman and you think my love is the weird part?
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So that's just that. I think these texts are strange, but we're dealing with strange people.
Well, and I have something to add too.
Yeah.
I think people, and we've talked about this with a lot of different things that happen, where people expect to see every single bit of results right away.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a 30-second or a 30-minute episode of like
Law and Order.
Yeah, like
right.
Things take time in real life. This isn't gonna like all be told to you
and
right away.
And I'm not suggesting that we just blindly accept everything as the 100% truth, but at the same time, on the opposite side of that equation, you've got people who, no matter what is out, it's nope, I'm not buying it. Why? I just don't want to buy it. Oh, you don't want to buy it. I don't, it's just something doesn't feel right. Okay, what doesn't feel right? I don't know, it's just my gut. Okay, and you can have that gut feeling. But as I said, I'm a notoriously tough sell, and I can't just be sold on gut feelings. That's me, all right? My gut feeling, because of the people who are handling the investigation, because of the circumstances at play, is that this was an organic text exchange. I could be wrong. This boyfriend could come out and go, I did know about it, and that was a plan. Maybe. I don't think so. Again, right to question it, wrong to declare that it was staged without proof. If you have proof, present it. If your proof is feelings, that doesn't count. All right. We got to get to a word from our friends over at Patriot Mobile. It's patriotmobile.com/FARASH. patriotmobile.com/Farish. If you have I know you have a lot of choices for cell phone service with new ones popping up all over the place. But here's the truth about that. There's only one that boldly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that is Patriot Mobile. The good news is you can switch to Patriot Mobile today without sacrificing any quality or service. If you're worried about coverage, don't be worried. Patriot Mobile uses all three major U.S. networks. If you have service in this country today, you'll have as good or better coverage with Patriot Mobile tomorrow. If you think switching is a hassle, it isn't. You can keep your number, you can keep your phone, or you can upgrade. Patriot Mobile's 100% U.S.-based team will get you activated in minutes from the comfort of your own home. If you're stuck in a contract or you owe money on your phones, don't worry about that either. Patriot Mobile has a contract buyout program. This is how we win, by aligning our spending with our values. Remember, every dollar we spend matters, and where we spend it matters. Go to patriotmobile.com/Farish or call 972-PATRIOT. Use the promo code Farish, F-A-R-A-S-H, and get a free month of service. That's patriotmobile.com/FARASH. patriotmobile.com/FARASH, or use the promo code FARASH when you call 972-PATRIOT. Get that free month of service. 972-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/Farish. Make the switch today. What else we got here? Let's see. I'm just checking up on the chat. Also, it is worth noting that these texts may not be verbatim, okay, and that they may have been transcribed, like a text version of what the officer said at the microphone, and you may be mistaking that to be the actual words and the actual spelling and the actual punctuation used in the actual messages. Another question was, why are they releasing so much evidence out right now? Doesn't that tamper with the jury? The answer to that, I believe, is no, because all of this evidence is in the probable cause statement. When you charge somebody with aggravated murder, what do you say? Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Well, this evidence is absolutely extraordinary, okay? And that is what needs to be in a probable cause statement in order to hold this guy in custody. So I believe that's why that evidence is being is being put out in front of everybody right now. And there were a lot of questions that District Attorney Jeff Gray took yesterday that he said, I can't comment on that because that may compromise the investigation. All right, a quick word from our friends over at Armor Colostrum. TryArmor.com/LFA TV. You know I'm always on the lookout for ways to strengthen my immunity, my gut health, improve my fitness and metabolism, and enhance my skin and hair radiance. Well, this is Armor Colostrum, and it can do all that for you and more. Colostrum is the first nutrition that we receive in life. It contains all the essential nutrients that our bodies need in order to thrive. It can help reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow. You can stimulate stem cells and collagen production, increasing elasticity for plumper skin, guarding against UV damage, chemicals and pollutants from the environment, and clearing blemishes for a glowy complexion. You can fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism, and you can even fuel your fitness performance and recovery. You can check this out at TryArmra.com/LFA-TV. That's TryArmra.com/LFA-TV. TryArmra.com/Lima Foxtrot Alpha Tango Victor for 15% off of your first order. That's TryArmra.com/LFA-TV. This is some good news from a couple days ago. Donald Trump was asked if he'd be willing to designate Antifa as a domestic terror organization. Watch.
Well, it's something I would do, yeah. If I have support from the people back here, I think we'd start with Pam, I think. But I would, if you give me, I would do that 100%. And others also, by the way. But Antifa is terrible.
Are there other groups that you can think of?
There are other groups, yeah, there are other groups. We have some pretty radical groups, and they got away with murder. And also, I've been speaking to the Attorney General about bringing RICO against some of the people that you've been reading about that have been putting up millions and millions of dollars for agitation. These aren't protests. These are crimes, what they're doing, where they're throwing bricks at cars of ICE and Border Patrol. And they come in with a beautiful new car. They're so proud. It's Border Patrol, ICE, it's got whatever it is. And they're throwing rocks at it. And
so there was Donald Trump open to classifying Antifa as a domestic terror organization, which I believe is long overdue. Hopefully that happens. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching and listening. Please hit the like button wherever you're watching, whatever platform you're watching on. Hit the repost button, whatever platform you're watching on. Share with your friends. Head over to any audio podcasting apps that you have as well. We are seeing a huge uptick in audio downloads, which is just amazing. Thank you for that. Just go to any audio podcasting platform, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. Search Ungoverned and hit subscribe. It's all you got to do. It just keeps that momentum rolling. Jeremy Harrell is up next here on LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV, the Cool Kids Table, home base. Make sure you're following the channel there. Jeremy Harrell up next for the next 3 hours. As President Trump says, we will never give up, we will never give in, and we will never, ever surrender. If all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are off to join the great Michael Patrick Leahy on the Tennessee bonus hour of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show from downtown Nashville. Until then, have a great rest of your Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. In the words of John Fetterman, bang gavel. Good night, everybody. And as always, thank you for your attention to this matter. Jeremy Harrell up next.